Hey guys, this is Joachim from the Richmond Times-Dispatch talking to you from Charleston, where VCU lost to Seton Hall 69-66 in overtime today in the first game of the Charleston Classic. Gut-wrenching loss for VCU, right? They led for 28-58 today. Had control of that game for long stretches, led by as much as 8 in the second half. What was it? I think it was about 42-34, and then another time early on in the second half, maybe 37-29. Max Scholga, 20 points, 6 of 14 from the field, but he had to carry VCU down the stretch. I think that was the frustrating part about the latter stages of that game, right, as VCU got stagnant offensively. And really the only thing that they had going was Scholga creating on his own. There wasn't much flow to the offense. Seton Hall is a great defensive team, and that certainly showed in key stretches. Late in that game, Scholga finished off glass after splitting a couple of defenders on the perimeter late in regulation to send the game to overtime, and VCU got a good look for Joe Bamasiel from the right wing at the end of overtime that could have sent the game to double overtime and tied it up, but it went begging, and VCU falls in a really great atmosphere here in Charleston. VCU fans traveled great. Seton Hall fans traveled great. Both were really loud. You had a bunch of fans behind the Seton Hall bench in blue and white, and a bunch of black and gold fans behind the VCU bench. And this was a really fun atmosphere at TD Arena. Zeb Jackson returned after missing the first 4 games of the year with a fractured bone in his left hand, and hit a 3 on his first offensive possession, which was very cool to see Zeb have that moment early on in this game. He finished with 15 points, played 26-21, which is really impressive, right, after missing so much time early in the year here for him to play the kind of minutes and contribute the way that he did tonight. Bamasiel 13 points, but 5 of 19 from the floor. He could never find much of an offensive rhythm and consistency, and put a bunch of shots up, and 3 of 13 from 3. Right, he's obviously a volume scorer, but could never get going on a consistent basis tonight, although he certainly had some big shots in the second half as VCU had runs, and it felt like they were trying to gain control of this game. But credit to Seton Hall, they fought back. Chauncey Jenkins, who a lot of names in the Virginia basketball community, a lot of people in the Virginia basketball community will know that name. He is a Menchville High alumnus and Newport News native who played at ODU before transferring to Seton Hall. Game high 22 points, all 22 in the second half. He hit some tough shots down the stretch, especially in transition, and Pirates coach Shaheen Holloway told me that he thought that was the difference in the game, that they were able to get going in transition down the stretch and capitalize on VCU misses to convert easy baskets on the other end. Ryan Odom said the same thing. He said he thought VCU's transition defense was pretty bad late in that game, and they hung their heads after missing some shots and didn't get back, and Seton Hall was able to capitalize that and convert it into easy baskets, led by Jenkins. Philip Russell tonight, that's the other side of the coin a little bit with his intensity, right? VCU fans have loved him early on in the UT Arlington transfer's tenure in the black and gold. Love his intensity, but he played 21-37, had just 3 points tonight and fouled out in overtime, picked up 2 quick fouls very early on, had to sit for long stretches of this game, and had a very difficult foul call on him. He can get under other teams' skin. It seemed like maybe he got under the ref's skin tonight with his intensity and with his drawing, because I'm sure there's some VCU fans out there that feel like the refs had it out for Phil a little bit tonight because he wanted an offensive foul on a possession there late in the second half. Felt like he got elbowed, went down, and then immediately got a catch and shoot 3 on the left wing and got called for that kick out foul that you're seeing is more common these days, right? Where the ref felt like he kicked the leg out on the 3-point attempt in order to draw contact and was called for the offensive foul there. So a frustrating night for VCU, right? There were 14 lead changes and 9 ties. This was a really fun atmosphere here in Charleston, a great environment, really fun college basketball game for the neutral, right? Although it was certainly rugged and ugly at times with 2 really good defensive teams. But for VCU to lead for 28-58, Seton Hall for just 9-07, and the Pirates come out with this win is really frustrating. VCU will play the loser of Nevada and Vanderbilt. Nevada. I say Nevada, and I've been told that people are going to get mad at me for that, and so I got to start saying Nevada. But VCU will play the loser of that game that's going on right now. It looks like it has 15:30 left in it. Tomorrow night, there's certainly still a chance for VCU to salvage this trip and win 2 games here, but that's a huge missed opportunity to lose to Seton Hall tonight in the game that you led for long stretches, and you don't get a chance at what's likely Nevada tomorrow, who's a really good team, although I don't know the score of that game right now. VCU, just looking at the stats, 9 of 37 from 3, 24.3%. That's obviously not going to cut it. Seton Hall closed out really aggressively. They're such a great defensive team. 22 of 60 So 36.7% from the floor, and aside from Shulga, Bamasiel, Jackson, nobody really got going offensively, and it was all Shulga creating late there for VCU as they went stagnant down the stretch. Zeb Jackson said after the game it was a very cool moment for him to score that bucket in his return, and he felt good out there. He's obviously, it seems, a full go going forward after playing 26-21. VCU will try and regroup really fast because they play tomorrow night at 7:30. Thank you all so much for following along the coverage. I'll have live updates and stories from Charleston all week. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.